Oh, I have to make amends for this. So we did find some good things. Being able to find that Viego actually does seem like it's going to be a winning fight against most junglers. If I just start red side into invade, and based on the fact that it's York jungle, and I'm sure they have 0 game reps against it, they'll have no idea that an invade like that is coming. So that'll definitely be viable on that side. As far as the other side, not so much, because you'd have blue buff, right? So you'd have to go wolves into blue and red, and then you have to do a lot of juggling to make sure to get your 4 ghouls. Now, I also let a wolf die. Sorry, a ghoul die, and that made my play a lot worse going into their jungle as well. So there's a lot of things, even with that little bit, red side definitely has that invade opportunity. So the question is what to build off of. All right, so let's see. As far as other things for the build, Conquer feels like it's going to be the best for the all-in. I mean, First Strike is good for the ganks. We could still be okay like this. I do think I like Trinity Force more than Eclipse by a lot. The extra tankiness is a big deal. We're still gonna go. We're gonna go with this. This also felt better, especially since we're gonna be picking fights in the early game. And let's see, Tenacity. Do we actually need Tenacity? We've got Leona for double. Everybody else has like knock-up, so Tenacity is not particularly great here, so let's go like this. Water Walking would have been okay as well too to double down on that speed boost. All right, this is a much better team comp, right? Everybody here wants to group, and that's much better for York if they're going to build the split push. Now, same thing we did before. We want to win this bush for our teammates. We're also going to go sweeper since we're actually looking for these fights. We want to try to get this as much limit testing done as possible. It is Gragas who has a fairly slow clear. Karthus is pretty good here. This is actually really good. All this chunk damage onto Draven really matters. So I'm actually going to come over here. Gonna make it clear to my team this is something that's going to be difficult in really low levels. They're going to think about leashing. A lot of people think they need leashing, but they don't understand the strength of pushing. Now, it could be true that smiting this camp is actually much better for clear speed, and I suspect that is the case, actually. Now, we're going to go for strict clear speed here. Again, we want a tank to keep these things alive as best as we can, which won't always work. Now you want to keep an eye on what's happening in the bot lane. So this is the push advantage we were talking about. By pushing, we actually create favorable wave states. They get mana level spikes first, which is exactly what's happening in bot right now. Alright, we said that we're looking for some fights, which means we actually want to keep this W available, and that's one of the downsides to potentially doing this. Now we'd like to get Karthus pushing as well. So this is kind of a reach, and we're basically going to see. This is only because Gragas has a slow clear speed that we're going to be able to do this. Going to make sure that we weren't spotted. He's going to be clearing this, and that's okay because we're going to try to kill him here on red. Ghoulies are going to kill him too. That would be swell. Alright, we got heat coming in, so we're going to have to peace out. No, we're not peacing out. This guy did get the red. We missed our smite. So that's kind of an idea of how long it takes to get over there. He was able to do all 5 camps by the time we were over. Even with one of the slower junglers. Let's get an eye on some vision, see what he might be looking at. Now we're going to use the wolves to start creating our army again. Ooh, I missed it. That's really bad. Alright, so we're going to try to pull the camp over here. This is the other thing that you can do. Try to get the corpses here, and then I'll be able to wake them up on the blue buff. So at least we have 2 corpses. Oop, fights up in top lane. Looks like Mord's going to be okay. Nope, he's making things a little bit too hard for himself. Complicated, I should say. This guy just flashed. Flash ignite. So this could be punishable in theory. We don't have Ghost, but maybe if he peeks up. The unfortunate thing about this is that my ghouls are now in this lane, and I'm actually pushing it out. This is actually really bad for my teammate, and he might get tilted. Now he's Mordekaiser. He's going to come back with the teleport. He's okay, but this kind of screws him. The fact that the ghouls are here, it cancels a potential freeze for him. Yep, I don't get that goal. Also poor. Oh my goodness. Man is ulting. Do we help to push here so he gets a good recall? No. We're gonna go and keep the clear speed up, try to get to 6. He's allowed to go through that? Huh? Okay. Maybe he got it before it armed. Alright, red buff means we're going to hit level 6. Another fast 6 here. Power farming. Oh, I like what these guys are doing. That's super good. This Gragas is can have a really tough time this game. Yeah, we definitely have enough to do the dragon. The fact that we didn't hit 6 kind of sucks, so we're going to just hover this wave. Just going to pick up some of this experience, help the Karthus push out, maybe. And we're going to pick up the Herald on spawn. I missed. That's blunder. How do you let that happen? I just looked, things were going peachy. That's on me. I didn't shop. This is very loose. Not shopping and the fact that Garen killed the Mordekaiser both made of those really sketchy investments. I'm playing so poorly. Okay, Roberto, you're playing poorly. Time to reset. Where are the wins gonna come from? Not yet. Gonna wake one more up. Want to help them push. It looks like they've got the push on their own. Is Gragas going to show up? Is Zed going to show up? Alright, they got the push in bot. We've got Gragas coming over. We're going to try to hover this out. Missed again. Lucian is recalling. That always feels pretty good. Thumbs up, let's do this. It's a flash. We do have Maiden, which means we can just come straight here. no, Lucian dying. This is really bad for us. This becomes a much less good play, especially if Mordekaiser is unable to hold them, but it looks like they're backing off. Oh, now he suicides. That's beautiful. Hinting for the dragon that you could never possibly get. My favorite play. That looks like they're going to get this kill. Maybe not. All-Star's a classic counter to Leona. Zed's looking at these guys, so I may just stick the ghouls over here, have them kill this while I go and cover for the Zed gank. Their best way is to actually just win this. And the ghouls are just dutifully doing their job over here. Kind of hilarious. Come on, keep fighting. Show me that you know how to keep fighting. It's so annoying that they don't do that. Yeah, the Triforce build just feels so much better. I recommend this 10 times out of 10. Eclipse is interesting for lane, that you can do some neat things, because you're looking for all those trades. Alright, here we go. We see an all-in coming in, so we gotta get here quickly. I just lose this? Are you kidding me? Karthus! Okay. This guy's gonna be a problem. Big. Alright, Lucian's getting Navori, which is nice. We want to bring him over to mid. Nice. Karthus, unfortunately, is going to be feeding Zed. Every time that Zed comes up to him, he's going to get a kill. So we really want to get Lucian here. No, get out. Just get out. Okay. Nope. Too strong. Alright, one more treat to get Squirtle online, and then we're good. Yikes. Oh no, Mordekaiser, are you kidding me? Okay. That's funny. Like, guy's about to get ulted. You're like, no, let me save you. Quick, I got you, bro. That was an unnecessary risk by the Lucian. Alright, we're going to be able to solo the Baron still. Alright, we need to get something for our team here. We're going to let these ghouls push. Then we're going to wake up the maiden and we're going to go look at Baron. Oh, they're already there. There's a bunch of smarties. Alright, we got the kill on the Garen. That's actually... it's something, right? And they have a Garen and a Zed with a Baron buff. This is going to be very difficult. Alright, we're going to start taking this a little bit more into our own hands as far as trying to get pressure on the map. We absolutely do not contest this. Alright, Karthus dying is actually the most DPS we can get here. Problem is that it's still a 4v3, right? Got him. Skip that guy, skip that guy. Go for this guy. Go off this guy. We get this. Oh, we've turned it. Alright, good. The fact that they split actually saved us. Lucian go pick up the wave, that's okay. And Zed is winning the 2v1. Shit. Okay. Good bait, good bait. I missed. Trying to get onto Draven, but I didn't have enough resources. This was just a silly fight to continue. Alright, how much are we going to contest? Gragas, Mord. Oh, they had a tough time, huh? We also have Thornmail here, which is like one of the most useless items you can get. Probably the most useless item. It's like okay that he can turn it on. They're not doing that much healing. They could, but it's just not that much. Don't get the kill. Don't die. There you go. Because if he gets that kill and he's able to get his Duskblade off, then everybody's boned. The good news is they don't have Baron anymore, which means we'll be able to set up a push. We're sieging. I need to create ghouls that are pushing here. We need to get map pressure somewhere. Alright, there they go. And we engage on this. Oh no! Alistar! Okay, we get one for it. The fact that he missed that was really bad. That's like one of the biggest troll builds you can have. Or like if you're Alistar and you miss that, it screws your team over so badly. Alright, we still have ghouls pushing in bot. So we can go ahead and look for more. 1100 on the full split push. Alright, ghouls are dead. There's the Garen. We'll use this to keep the minions alive for a little bit longer. Zed's got better moves than me. We do have this though. Garen is winning the 1v3. Decent peel there from the Alistar. That is the time where you do want to headbutt, by the way. Good job. That works. The problem with their team is they have some champions that are exceptionally hard to play in the late game. Gragas can like blow up a team fight in the wrong way. Draven is the hardest carry in the game to play. Zed needs to pick his spots, although he's so turbo fed that he probably gets to find them anyways. Yeah, this guy's spamming emotes in the middle of his sequences. Gonna come back. Nope. Guy's got moves. Did I catch him? I caught him. Ghouls! Are you kidding me? This guy is smurfing his ass off. Oh. By disjointing the ghouls, he doesn't have to take any of the fights. Oh, he can just go dash away. They lose their aggro because of the distance. Shit. Might just have to stay away from that one. It is Mountain Soul. Hold this area. We want to hold this so that when they engage we can fight them. Karthus not coming. We need this teleport right here. We need to absolutely hold this area. Big upfront damage. Absolutely love it. Enemy team is inting by going from Baron to Dragon. This is a common mistake that people make. They just threw away the game. Just push, just push, just push. Not your job, not your job. The fact that we're not getting multiple towers off this is unacceptable. Soul is not a game-ending prospect. Maybe we can find a good angle on this Draven here. Found the Draven. He's got Rylai's. Good, good, good. Nice. Guessed that he would try to juke here. Oh, we got pushing going in every lane. Zed's missing. Zed's gone. We're probably strong enough to actually go here. Now we want to feed the Maiden actually into the bot wave. Because that's the wave with the supers. She'll be fine into there. We just need to get her all the way over. Garen, if Garen interrupts it though, Garen will definitely beat the Maiden. We don't have the Farsight alteration. Keep Maiden alive. Nope. Alright, so we go for a full split by ourselves. We have Stride Breaker, and we're going into split push mode. It's going to be kind of difficult with what's here. Nice. Is Garen still alive? Garen's still alive, right? I can't go any further. He's too deadly to me. Frenzy. Okay. Mordekaiser's got the angle here. Okay, so ghouls are fine here. Same thing as before. Oh, Zed's coming. We gotta push hard. Now, this is an adaptation, right? Zed's forcing on our team, so we're gonna back off. Mordekaiser's actually going for the push. Oh, we have a cannon alive. We can actually keep this. We can keep this going. Rip. Hope we don't lose here. Just gonna have to see if we can get lucky with an end. We actually do push faster than the Zed. Was worth trying it. Basing against a player who's better than us into a matchup that crushes us at every single time is not an option, right? People think about basing. It's like, no, the best play is try to get the enemy to make a mistake. Ugh. Man, I'm still stressed about the kids. Karthus stayed cool. So, I mean, you see some of the flaws of the champ and of me. I'm playing so bad. All right, let me show you what Master Yi looks like, though. In the meantime, we can look at how do we make this happen. I don't think it's there. Freljord's like a really natural synergy, and I think if you got other elements, you'd be totally fine to do it. But this is Stream of 7, and Stream of 7 is incredibly strong. You basically need to be level 8 to get it because of the strength of these guys. So if it's not Freljord, though, like you pairing, the Freljord pairing is with these. It's Deadeye, Invoker, and Bruiser, which is no good. So you really want to be up with the other ones. Juggernaut, for example. Strategist. So you could go with like Garen, Jarvan, Poppy. Who's the other one? Nasus. So Juggernauts, let's see, Warwick. We could go with Zon, I suppose. No, you can't. Just the Warwick. I mean, the question is, how do you level, right? If you're building up Shrima 5 is clearly a spike. 5 Shrimas ascending is a big deal. So is there like a 5 reroll team where you can add just 2 other units? Strategist, multicaster, I guess Teemo. Shreeman Teemo would be good. And then let's see. I mean, are we doing this at 6 and just trying to hit either Nasus or Azir? They're 2 of the like less contested, especially Nasus is not contested generally at all, and I have a feeling that he's going to be exceptionally strong with this. But there's just such a huge difference between ascending at the beginning of combat and not. We'll leave Belveth open as a backup plan. We'll keep on doing the Jax ban. No, let's see. Against this, yeah, Jax is fine. He's not particularly good against Fiddlesticks or Ezreal. So something that has CC that can also hold these down. Point and click. Pantheon probably would have been the best ban here. Pantheon has the winning matchup against Mordekaiser, and then also has a point and click stun for me later. All right, this is the one from the guide, so we'll play with this. Alacrity, the only time you don't go Alacrity is if they have tons and tons of CC. This will be for Dan. Alright, Kane's a fantastic matchup for me. There's nothing he can do about it. Draven, same thing. There's only one spell, so we just have to dodge that. And it barely outranges the Alpha Strike, so we will be able to go Q Flash if we want to just jump over it. Attack speed will be great. This right here outscales at level 4. Since we're not really stacking HP, we don't have much use for the resistances, even when it's a full AD comp. At least according to #1 Master E player in the world, so we'll take his word for it. Alright, Cassiopeia fantastic against me. Outdamages our carries in the fights and has 2 tools to keep me from flying, so we'll try to take that into consideration, and as the fight goes on, we'll have to make these adjustments. Try to keep an eye on her cooldowns. If she gets her Miasma and her ultimate down, then yes, we can go on her. Nasus we don't care about. His Wither doesn't do anything against me when I'm in my ultimate. He can't slow me down. Kane, similar thing. If he goes Red Kane, then we just have to dodge 1 spell with a very slow animation, so we should be able to hit him through it. What's up, Karambin? How you doing? Alright, so we don't have support here yet, so we can't go into the river. This is slightly late here, only by a second, so we're okay to get in. I don't mind if we don't get a leash, but it is Master Yi, so I can also do well with the leash. Both options are good. It's just the same AP Shiv that we had earlier. Absolutely, we want to get the pushing advantage here, because if these two ever get to level 2, then they're going to have a huge problems as the Ezreal Fiddlesticks. Cass has tier, which means that Shyvana would win the all-ins. Mordekaiser versus Nasus is heavily favored for the Mordekaiser, but once Nasus gets 6, he just kills him. There they are. Alright, we're going to just go fight these guys. They're not leashing either. Now I wish I had smitten. Now this is not something you tend to do, but this has a very high likelihood of winning. Alright, that's flash heal. ignite. So that slows me down tremendously, though, so it is important to keep that in mind. We do have smite to kind of gain our presence back. This guy warded right here. That should not happen. Kayn ganking up here, so Kayn started top side, makes a lot of sense. Now we're going to use the knowledge of Cassiopeia's ward against her because she didn't ward deep enough, so I'm going to go in behind her. She doesn't know that I'm going to be in behind. I'm not fast enough. So if I'm faster, I can use that frame to get that deny there. If I'm happy with an early kill, this is a very important item to start off. We're going to get this ASAP, and we're going to go like this. Now, did Kayn go into my jungle? He might have. No, let's see. He's at 23, and he went this side. So most likely, he just went and cleared these sides. But that is a big farm deficit, which is not something I want to get used to doing. Should be a kill for him. Close one. You serious? All right. Mord, you're at 1 HP. What the hell are you doing up there, dude? Now, this is the highest single target damage dragon in the game, so I have to be careful with this. Ezreal's out of mana. He needs to take his recall. This is bouncing, unfortunately. Now we're super late on items. Everything about this game is going to be really, really tough. Shyvana. Go this way. That's not the direction you want to retreat in general. Alright, so we do have a pushing top lane matchup. This guy's going to get into trouble from a gank again, though, so we're going to stay on top side and kind of shadow. Stay present for him, and we're going to take the scuttle with the intent of leaving. Hey. I missed it. That flash was so troll. We lagged right there, right as we go into the miasma. This guy could have gone for an R and E to go for a kill. Didn't opt to go for it, so we end up biting the bullet. People need to relax, though. Wow. The fact that that's even like... Oh, you just inted! Bro! Alright. This is the type of level that I should just be able to carry, just for the record. So anything that is my failure here is my failure. Just gonna use this for immediate gold. We'll get 2 plates off of that. That'll be enough. We really want this Kraken Slayer ASAP. I see you. Saves Mord, gets this guy dead. It's risky. Way too early on this ult. He's just going to let the shield pass off. Kayn is getting all that work done. But we've got this, so we've got something for ourselves. Alright, and Kayn being on top side means that maybe we can just get a rush over here. Looks like bot lane's inting pretty hard too, but... what are we going to do about it? sweat for that one. Did this just activate? I thought I saw it activate. There's the cane. I don't think he's gonna have any kind of tools left here. Problemas. Alright, we got a kill on Draven. That might tilt him. Four and four, not good though. We want to be much better on the plus minus here. Just gonna keep on picking on this Nasus with this bad build. Spell on cooldown. Whoa, no! What? Ugh. It's low. This is like low, I don't know, silver gold maybe? Low enough for people to have blow up mental. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Although today's not been a good show, been pretty stressed, been trying to regulate that, and I should not be playing ranked probably. So I think that's the read I'm going to make for myself is I should stop playing ranked. But that was it for our best of 3 anyways, so we'll be okay. There were definitely opportunities to just do that better mechanically and to decisions to go over the everyone started imploding. Siobhan, like, I don't know. I can't. There's a lot of things to speak on what opportunities were there, but there's so many of them that it would be unfair to just like go and pinpoint one. And obviously, playing better starts with me. All right, we're gonna jump off of this one. What ELO are you hollering from? So it's just going to be a little bit more relaxed. We'll get people in post game. If you guys are ready, we'll get into DK versus Gen after this. No, not DK Gen. We want to watch SKT versus KT. Both teams, I believe, are 4-1 going into that game. Thresh's Sanctum is actually really good for playing very aggressively. When units die, collect their soul, right? So you can play... What you basically want to do is have very even matchups where a lot of units are dying. So you're better off being like high level with less units and then have more things die and see if you can get like 13 units dying per fight instead of 11. But like that advantage is very small. But if you can be the first one to gain the extra loot, it can be nice. Looks like this is where we're going to be. So Thresh's Sanctum, when any unit dies, collect their soul every 40 souls. Okay. So there are small things to get an extra 1 and 2 here, anywhere. 2 different comps that we're trying to build. Well, we've got Sorcerer Void, we've got the Invokers, and if we get something like 3s, we want to try to be flexible, especially if it's pulled over. Wow, okay. Hey, I should have picked up the lady. Whoops. Ionia Rogue Slayer. Okay, so we are going to adapt. For our start, this would give us... Once we get Katarina, we'll have like a really nice team. Questions whether or not we're going to spend any time trying to go for the other comps. Noxious 6 is a really good lead-off comp too. No thanks, no thanks. We'll go you and you. Could pre-level. Excuse me. Alright, gain a component anvil when you reach 5, 6, 7, and 8. Definitely not here. Definitely not here. Tons of stats is usually just the best one by a lot. We'll reroll and see. No, tons of stats it is. Now, where do we want to go with this? That's the question. Could go with... We're not going to have any pairs, so we could just Lost Streak. And I think that's probably the better plan. Although Noxus, we could like steamroll the early game with it. So we go here, we'll get Slayer. We still hit Econ. Or we could like start building our Ash comp. There's also like pieces of Shurima, so we could go here, here. We could leave this intact. Definitely want to hit Econ with this much access to it. I think we go like this. We'll give no one the item. We got 1 item off of Carousel, so we should really be working on a good economy here. Might be tough to win streak, but if we can get Econ while leveling, then that would be sick. We have Lissandra. Alright, so we already have a strong core towards our other team, the one that we'd rather be playing most times. Could go for this one as a front line. Could go for Shurima still. This is probably our biggest risk of losing is right now. We could just put Aurelia into this squad, actually. Level up now and then have access to better shops, which is actually really good for Noxus since we've got 3s and 2s. And especially since we're looking for Katarina in particular. So now with the 5 units in play, we should be really good for the wins. We also have a lot of lower health units that might die quickly, although this 5-0 plan is a little bit suboptimal as far as trying to get these souls stacking. But we have a slight lead for the moment. Yeah, this guy's going to be at 21. Okay. So we're getting our guys right away. Now we could go here. That's where I don't want to screw it up, because like this shell of the team is very good as well. Juggernaut Challenger would also give me this right away if I go for Noxus 6. But I think we're just gonna have to ship it. So this right here is 6 gold, which might be enough, and then we get to still decide a little bit. I'd like to hit pairs before or see this carousel. Also, if other people contesting units is worth checking out. We've got some Shrima, some Darius. No one's going Void, actually. Might be worth jumping into Void. But we get to keep this intact, which will be nice. So this guy's Darius. We've already got a Zed rogue player. Multiple people are over in this direction. Okay. This is actually a very good item. And we could go... Actually, no one's building the Garen direction. So we could just lean this way. This is the team comp I know will top 4, and we can easily climb with. Garen is better for trying to actually win the lobby, and since there's no one... this guy might... Yeah, he's building Galio. There's a chance. I don't want to go contested into Garen for sure. Karma's the least important unit here. So if it comes to it, we can easily just drop that. Just put this here. I don't think we win this. It's close. Stun had to be on the Jhin. Alright, so we're 5 and we lost after a triple win. Econ's going to be okay. Not awful. It would have been much better to obviously steamroll this, but we didn't get any of our combos, so now we just have to choose correctly the direction we want to go. This guy's holding a Soraka. Alright. We're going that way. Looks like it's going to be wide open. I don't know. Maybe not with the Ionia player here, but they could easily be going challengers. It looks like they're picking up these guys, so they could be going like Slayer Challenger or Challenger with going for 4 vertical. All these guys, dude. Everyone is going this Spoils of War. They're just forcing it with the augment. It's so much gold. Makes us think that we probably should just be going there, because getting that early econ is just so clutch. Early Kaisa is tempting. But we'll be good with this team. The second loss was actually total more gold. It ended up netting me 2 gold instead of winning, which is why we don't force the play there. Alright, this is very nice to have Rage Blade. That's the beginning of Felios items. Interesting. Oh my. Okay. Signs are pointing to maybe staying here and sitting here for 6 levels. Staying here at 6 and re-rolling. Or we can just make replacement Ash. These parts are definite, and we can pre-level. Pre-level to 6. A loss is as good as a win here. If we win, then we're just going to try really hard to keep the win streak alive for all of stage 3. If we lose, then no problem. Then we get the extra gold from the streak. Win being slightly better for preserving HP, and for starting the streak, because we do think that we're going to be strong enough to win here, because it looks like we're not contested at all. So it should be my game to lose. The question is whether or not to go re-roll the Ashe Soraka or not. And if we're going Ashe, then we're definitely going to want Deadeye. If we're just making more Ashes and replacing them, then we actually want to go and spike levels. But either way, we're going to want to get some bonuses here. Completed item anvil and 10 gold. That's pretty good. This is very nice. But gold generation, we might be a little bit late. This is a very, very strong piece for us. Oh, we already had Karma. We could have gone more. The team's pretty good here. This combination is just really strong. Another Invoker would obviously go a long way. And we tend to go, if we're 6, we tend to find another Galio, and then we make that our comp. We don't actually need the Karma because we're unlikely to go Ahri. So having access to extra frontline would be nice. This looks like it's going to be a problem. The Sorcerer team is going to make us blow up. Very strong into Taric. The fact that he has a Taric 2 of his own is pretty strong, but look at this. Ginsu's Rage Blade is actually going to take it over. Sick. Is my camera in a bad spot for this? Yes, totally. Let's make sure, again, uncontested, there's Taric. Probably going Lissandra as well. Alright, no one's taking our units. No, there's an Ashe. Okay. It's worth noting. I actually want to swap this. Ashe should be here. Karma should be here. Now we have 5 Ashes, 4 Karmas, and 4 Sorakas, so it's kind of tempting to just stay at 6 and roll this out. Look for Galio, or the random Shen, Sejuani type. This actually be really strong for us. So would Thieves Gloves, actually. Thieves Gloves plus Galio, immediate spike. Taric for 2 and access to a part of Redemption. And that's what we're going to get. Alright, we have early Taric 2. Taric's going to be contested. I'd like to get another invoker up in here. There we go. Boom, found it. So these guys get to go here. Ripperino. I still keep on forgetting to move this Ash over. Oh, we could send. Team's good. We don't need to do anything right now. Six karmas is promising. Where's this other guy? He's got the 3 and he stopped there. Okay. This guy went Ash. Ash and Galio. That's a pain in the butt for me. No, don't lose this fight. Of all the fights to lose, this was the worst one. Now we're going to want to go 7 and I think go all the way in. Because Shen or Aphelios will make our team much better. If we go Shen, then we can skip this. If we're randomly 7 and hitting something like Karma or Ari, then that would be fantastic. Okay. We didn't really hit, and there's other people contesting Ash. So I'm tempted to stop for the reroll. We didn't get any much progress here. We could get the Rabadons off of Soraka, but having 6 already, it's a tough choice. This is very good for us. Oh, Shroud of Stillness. This thing's fantastic. And there's the 8. Okay. Okay, so I think going 9 or going 8 is the strat here. I guess we'll just wait. Winning this fight's not the biggest deal in the world, but I think I just want it to be on the Galio anyways, because I'm going to be replacing Galio. We're just going to go for the classic build. Stack up Aphelios, try to get Giant Slayer, and either Deathblade or Infinity Edge. This would be 5 gold. $5 gold in my pocket. This would be 9. No, this would be 10 gold if we ship this, but it would be substantially weaker. I really want to get my econ up because I'm going to want to go all in stage 5-1. My team's very strong to carry stage 4, but I want to make sure that I'm super strong at stage 5 as well. And that'll guarantee my top 4. Look at Soraka's damage. Totally an acceptable carry, by the way. The problem is the damage is slow, so it's much better early in the game, but still, like, the quantities are super high. The ratios are good. This wants to be sword above everything, and there's a sword on an Ashe, which is pretty perfect. Tier for redemption wouldn't be awful as well. We'll go with Sunfire. Sunfire because we might get Sorcerer later, so putting on Taric means that we'll get some extra stats. Alright, time to move Soraka over. Making more of these would actually be pretty clutch. Oh, you know what? I had that. Holy crap. What a miss. Oh, I must be tired. I should probably stay away from all ranked games. I had the option of making a second Shroud of Stillness, which would have given me mana burn on 2 different rows of their fights, basically on both corners. That would have been exceptionally strong. Instead, I don't. That's just a big miss. This guy went 8 and he still got the econ. Jesus. Shoplifting? No. Yeah, shoplifting will do that. And he's got medium end shopping, so he might have just been getting those beforehand. 3-star Zed is a big problem. Man, I think we just have to go Spoils of War from now on. Like, it's just too good. You know, tons of stats, fantastic. You can certainly win the game with this. And Spoils of War is like race to top 4. Like, you get so much econ early that it kind of pays you back for rolling and getting item level spikes early. But this can carry. What are these upgrades? Apex turrets and execute enemies under 10% health. Not enough damage. Alright, now Aphelios comes in. Aphelios will go right here. Do we remake the Ash? I think we remake the Ash. So you know what? We'll do it right now to get ourselves more chances of hitting them in the shop. Okay, Thieves Gloves for Ash will actually be totally decent. We have a 2-star here. If we hit it, we'll put it in. Lissandra's not actually part of our team. Not like that, at least. Karma? Do we want Karma? No. Terex we whiffed. Lissandra we don't need. Cassante we actually don't need. This guy's a problem for me. That Scion and a 3-star Darius, obviously. Such a good rune. Probably should just be rolling right here. There's not much more I can get from my team, right? But I do need Aphelios too pretty badly because these are carry units. They've got money invested into them. I should be also be swapping the Shen over. Make sure that he's getting the AP ratio. Also, Lissandra does not need this AP ratio at all, so I can move this whole front line over. Get Galio more lined up with corner units. Team's very, very strong, but it's going to be a little bit of a bridge. Still should be good for like 3rd place. I don't think I'm going to win. These guys that have golden units are going to beat me. And I could press for these 2 units. Probably should. Because they're my main source of damage. But later I do want to get access to Senna as well. No, we're going to go for it. No Aphelios. I also didn't pay attention to this. This is Zeke's Herald I could have moved over. We'll give it one more chance to find this Aphelios. Ooh. No. Ice cream cone for frontline. Deathblade. There we go. Deathblade for this guy because it synergizes really well with the Runons and with the extra attack speed, so it's probably the best carry item I could have gotten. Frontline would have been fine. Extra ice cream cones are always great, but we already have the 3 items on to Tarek. There he is. These guys get massive shields based on being next to Tarek, so we're fine with this. We can put Lissandra here, so she kind of gets peppered earlier, and then she gets her stun off earlier. So it's a little bit of a gambit, but you put her right behind, gets extra damage in. Now we have everybody facing off into the Sijuan. He's kind of a pain in the butt, but at least we have Sunfire taking away, and we had this really nice Shroud of Stillness that hit basically everybody, and these guys are going to free fire, so it should be a win for me. Now I want to start looking into hate drafting. Looks like Swain and Kaisa are my main targets. In fact, those are my only targets. Katarina as well. Alright, so we want to put the Darius back in the pool because they've already got that. So here's our top 3. Swain, Katarina. That's it. So we're going to go try to take away Swains and Katarinas, and then we're going to go and try to hit either Scion or Senna at the highest level. Senna because of the shields that my team gets. I don't have Locket, however. Locket is the big one that like amplifies with Targon. It's very nice, but also with Senna, getting that Locket onto my backline gives all the attack speed. This is going to be very difficult to kill. But the fact that everyone's into it and the fact that my Deadeyes will stay locked into him even when he's doing his dodging is still good for me. But it looks like he disjoints, which could be a problem. Yeah. That's a really neat synergy, right? Z-Rot to kind of rejoin. This guy's got a nice team on his hands. Boan. And he just hit the Scion. 6 Noxus. This is what we were talking about before about pairing Warwick with this team. Just does a lot of nice things. It looks like they sold out of Katarina, so it's just Swain that they're going for. This guy is not my competition. So how can we beat this guy? Is he level 9? He's 8 with 30 gold. So a couple different avenues. 3-star dude is definitely one of them. Pick up this Swain. These are awful Ash items. I guess we're looking at Zeke's to put on the Senna. Or we can just put it like right here for now. I should have moved my guys. Now, apparently I didn't need to. Big shields. Alright, so we also want to hit Heimerdinger. No, we don't want to hit Heimerdinger because then that's going to screw up our shops. Alright, this guy's getting knocked out, so we're going to be top 2. Now it's just a matter of trying to beat this other guy. Going to keep Swain. Looks like we're trying to go for Rise as well. Oh, he lost. Did he lose to... No, he lost to the other dude. Which is Rise spell. Make the strongest one ally to be reclaimed by the Shadow Isles. After they die, return to the battlefield. Oh, that's really good. Okay. Alright, so we just won this fight. Now we could go Rise and just replace the Galio. He didn't get his spell off? That sucks. Draven's still getting 3-man knockouts, so we're probably going to have to separate, especially if we lose this fight, but I think we should be good. Looks like I fought his Shadow last time, so maybe with the synergies he's actually stronger. It's going to be close. Big chakram damage. No lifesteal is the difference. And the fact that Draven got all 3 people knocked out. But this actually, you know what? This guy is beating Baoan, so I think I actually want to lose to him. Awkwardly enough, because I think I'll still be strong enough to take the rest here. Now let's see if we can one-shot Echo without ever presenting a target. Okay. So all of our damage is focused on Echo, and he's getting Shroud of Stillness. Yeah, he's gonna get it for free. And the fact that he's rogue. Maybe this just never works. We're still on him? We're still on him. Gosh, he's so tanky. And that Darius is just ripping us apart. Alright. That was never gonna work, huh? 12,000 damage. That guy's dead. Alright, how do we beat this clown with another item? That's how. Giant Slayer. Shroud of Stillness, number 2. I'm gonna assume that... No, you know what? It's gotta be Giant Slayer. This guy's got way too much damage on the table. I don't know how I'm ever gonna get enough to make it count, but we're gonna try. I just don't have enough money for rolling. This is Bruiser Synergy. Alright, this is probably our best effort. Oh, he had a Shroud on us as well. Okay, who's coming back to life? Is this actually going to be good enough? Okay, it brought my Ashe back. It thought that my Ashe was my strongest unit. No thanks. That's right, second place. Not bad. All right, let's get to it. Excuse me. Okay, let's back him up. Okay, here we go. T1 versus KT. This was played earlier in the week. Fan out from both sides. We've got Alistar Zeri. Love that the Alistar is getting picked up. This is an underrated champion that we don't see nearly enough. There are some really bad matchups for the Alistar, but it has an insane bundle of stats. So I do expect it to see more and more play. This is pre-nerf Annie. Gragas is still totally fine, especially tank a Gragas into Renekton. Very difficult for Zeus to get the upper hand in this matchup. Owner's playing Kindred, which we know is notoriously difficult to play. In these pro comps, the ultimate, it's really hard to swing these fights, so I'm going to give the draft edge to KT. They basically have wins all over the place. Annie, super safe. The Q spam from Nico is totally strong, but Annie's just so steady, right? Love this deep ward, right? So 126 timer right there. That'll be up for 90 seconds. Very important to see that. Love that ward because it sees all manner of pathing that goes into and crossing towards mid. All right, so you don't need to see the camp. You can just get inferred vision. So I absolutely love that ward by Keria. Kindred not using Smite is kind of interesting. Now look at this Viego adaptation. This is something you can do because Kindred's often tried to go red into Steel. So Viego goes Wolves into Gromp. This is going to be the best path for a fast 6, but it's going to delay the blue buff. That's totally fine for him because he wants the blue buff for longer. So pay attention if you're a Viego player. This is a very strong start for himself. Good little window. Cleanse already down. I wonder, it looked like Keria might have animation canceled, but I think the root came out and aiming was fast onto that. So they do seed level 2, and this is one of the big complaints about Alistar is that, like, how are you ever supposed to fight at these early levels? Now, he is going to have flash, and he is going to have Hextech flash traption, but Keria is basically going to go for these one-sided trades. You see that he's not even getting the E at level 2. He just wants to come up and shield himself, get that auto reset, plus the extra damage. Now, here we go. This is what we're talking about. Saving Smite. Is he going to get spotted? No. All right. If they have that scouted and they know that that's a ward that they place at a specific timer, then primo. Well done. by T1. All right, and I suspect that that's the case. We don't actually have that information on KT, but based on how perfectly owner crossed right there, I have to assume that that is the case. And now you're going to bully this matchup, and this is what Kindred needs to do. You have to play like you're in Italy. Just get in the face of these opposing junglers. You're going to see owner taking the aggro, jumping in here. Happy to take both, and now he's going to start fighting out. Viego jumping over. Ooh. Flashing forward. This is definitely Kindred favored, but he lost sight. One more Q auto is enough, but he walks into the Andy. All right, Viego's going to be stuck going for bot side. Now, unlucky for Kindred that the mark did spawn there. I love how owner's playing this, though. That beating that ward to get towards the Krugs camp was such a big blowout. And now Viego can't even go over because T1 rotates over. So expertly done by T1 so far, managing these waves and making so that Kindred can take the maximum against this matchup. Now they have full information that this scuttle is up, so Kindred's going to go to level 4 and then probably swing right back over. They don't want to give up any of the momentum that they have. All right, owner decides to go for blue instead. Wants level 4 because it would be kind of late. Viego's spawns are all respawned because of the wolves start. He's got wolves up, and then Grump will be right back up. This is the benefit that we spoke about at level 1. But he's skipping it to go straight to the camp, saying, you know what? These camps will still be there for me. Kindred might be on a recall trying to come over because of the very aggressive take that she was able to get. Very nicely played. Love the motion so far. This is why we watch LCK and not LCS, because my goodness, the difference is staggering right now. There are some things that some NA teams do well, but watching, for example, NRG versus Golden Guardians last night was kind of upsetting to just see like how much they still need to improve on simple endgame macro. So hopefully we'll get a better show out of it from this game. All right, Kindred ends up taking the rest of the camps. Now I'm very surprised is not taking Krugs. This must be because she's got the Noon Quiver and she wants to take it right away, get back on the map in time for the respawns. And that is what they're buying. But not getting the Krugs respawn means that you don't get to play top to bottom again. So the farming is going to take a shot. Now, Kindred might, with level 5, decide to just go into the pit. And might try to prey on the fact that Viego's stuck topside to go in. Now, Renekton's going to be able to get some amount of trades in, but this matchup you're going to see is going to swing against him pretty hard. He has to use his ultimate aggressively, which I like that he's doing right now. Very tightly played by Zeus, but you see, like, even using that effect, Gragas went even in the trade, okay? Despite being Conqueror, right? Just getting extra grass procs. Ooh, nicely played by a Faker. BDD missing on the out. And this is what I was talking about with Kindred. If you're going to go for a Noon Quiver into Krugs, it's because you want to go straight to Dragon. Now, ideally, you wouldn't want to pull the Dragon out into the Shrine if they have it. Oh, nice played by Lehens. WQ, they're going to chase, so we've got the continuation. No, they're going to hold the position. Check out how they're moving together, right? See how they drop the wards in the bushes as they go? They're muscling into the spot, but this is a very good play for T1 because Kai'Sa's happy to get this wave for herself, and you're going to get Zeri, blowing another cooldown to come pick up this wave, which means that T1's going to be able to muscle into the river. They're going to keep this. Nico pushes up. Kai'Sa pushes up. They've got full control of the river. They can absolutely take Dragon right now if they want. But they're opting against it. Kindred says, I'm close to 6. The reason she's going into the jungle right now is because of that proximity to 6. Kai'Sa actually very close to 6 themselves, which is crazy fast experience for this stage in the game. Completely abnormal, actually, to be this. If we have multiple people getting 6 pre-8, that would be fantastic for them. Now, the Dragon is a low source of experience, and Kindred's really taking a risk by coming over here. Now, they don't have the prio. Zeri hit 6 on their own. Again, this was spent because of the time that they spent themselves. Here we go. Good job by Kiri appealing onto aiming. Kai'Sa's going to try their darndest to rip into the Alistar. Would have liked to see one attack from the Nautilus come in there to make sure to get those extra procs. Nico having the push prio over Annie is the reason that she gets to come in. And Viego steals it. That's such a heartbreak. They work so hard for this and they don't end up getting it. Nico ends up dying. This is miscommunication and missed execution. And getting hit by the edge of that. My goodness. Okay. How do you come back? Your mental's going to have to reset. T1 played that perfectly, okay? Apart from the execution, Renekton pushed in top, came over, rotated to middle. That's perfect. Nico pushed middle, rotated into river. Nautilus and Kai'Sa fought for the winning position in the bot lane, come over, and yet they still lost the smite fight. So Cuz getting his redemption against T1. Now this KT roster is no joke, right? Most of these players have been at Worlds multiple times in some cases. This was a large part of the Africa roster is here. BDD was the first guy, right? Before you had Showmaker and Chovy contesting for like who's going to be the guy that knocks Faker off of his perch. BDD was the first guy that came up and they're like, this is the guy that's going to do to Faker what Faker did to the rest of the LCK, just retiring half the mid laners where they're like, I can't deal with this. This is too good. Unilaterally upping the level of the league. But now we've got, a whole showcase of those guys. Showmaker, BDD, Chovy, all there. Chovy maybe being most marquee amongst them. So let's check this out. How they position. Now Faker, did they miss an opportunity here? Did Owner get confused? I don't know. Was there a smite diff? I can't see the inventories. That doesn't look like it should have hit, honestly. Guy's gonna be so tilted. Oh no, this is Cuz, yeah, he's like, yeah boy. How did they let that happen? I don't know what Faker was trying to do. Like I think that was a micro the Nico and try to create a window, and yet it probably, by standing right in front of the dragon, probably obfuscated the view of one of the spells for the combo, but ended up with a 50-50 or winning. It shouldn't have been 50-50, probably like 30-70. So T1 should reset their mental. They're going to be okay. Nautilus, Kai'Sa exceptionally strong in the bot wave. We are going to get the broken static shiv build from the Kai'Sa here. I do believe that this must be pre-patch. So static shiv still giving the split ratios. The AP ratio will be very nice for the hybridized build. It took the world a little bit to get onto this. Everyone was playing LeBlanc, but for 6 weeks this has been a possibility. This Kai'Sa build, and only started showing up in this portion after static shiv got all the notoriety. But it was this good for a long time. I shouldn't say this good because it got better, right? It wasn't getting played, and so Freak went ahead and buffed it twice. It's like, guys, still no one's playing it. When how good do I need to make it before you actually play it? Well, now it's getting played. But this will be probably the last time that we see. Kai'Sa is one of those champions that can stick to it a little bit longer than most, so you might still see Kai'Sa's building static shift from here on out, but I really think that Akali is the only great user of the item anymore. What Kai'Sa likes about it is that it's an AD item that'll help her build into the queue while also having AP ratios, so she'll still get some benefits from building Nashor's Tooth, and then she can go into Ginsu's Rageblade to take advantage of both of those, and to get the rest of the AD for her build. So it is possible. Static Shiv also makes it so that you essentially just need one Static Shiv proc plus one Q once it's upgraded to clear out the entire wave. Now this is something that is more common to Faker, trusting your laners, saying I'm going to let them do their own thing and just hold mid, play for plates, try to preserve as much HP on this mid lane turret as possible. That is done at the highest levels to basically shelter their map, right? They're protecting mid lane turret because they try to win through mid. They play inside out. They're going to try to break mid, take advantage of mid vision, and then use that gape, that hole that gets left open as an opportunity to slide from side to side. And they play their macro inside out from the middle of the map. And it's sort of like, if you picture in chess, it's like having your queen centralized. You have your best piece able to move the most, That's what the theory is behind it. So very much just using a chess principle. Inside out, you want to control the middle so you can control the rest of the map. And it's true, if you do hold the mid, then you control the junctions, right? And from that position, you should be able to get the maximum on your rotation. So for example, they play inside out here, they help with the push, and then they come over topside river. Now the onus will be on KT to get the maximum on the other side. You do have Zeri versus Renekton. Can be kind of scary for Renekton as far as the total amount of poke. But Renekton's looking for the all-in. The problem is that they don't see Viego. Now, I would have liked to see Zeus actually go for some amount of chip damage here. Just E, dash in, force the Zeri to use her dash. And now you're going to be in trouble here because now Zeri's going to pick up the aggro and just fly on out, hold the aggro, and then jump out. Viego could have picked it up as well and then just disjointed it with his R, and then Zeri could have picked it up. Would have been a little bit better. So very well done by Zeus to hold on to that dive. Would have preferred that he got a little bit of chunk damage onto Zeri before. Just one iteration while Viego was likely to be on Dragon. Just inferring that info. But they end up holding on to most of the HP on mid lane turret. You're going to see the rotations now. Static Shiv. Missing out on a little bit of an opportunity here. Berserker's Greave's totally great, right? And you do want the Doran's Blade. Everything about Kai'Sa's build seems fine, but you want to force yourself in with one item. One AP item here on this patch will help you to one-shot the waves, okay? You just need that extra little bit. At this point, you're getting 125% extra ratio. Now, they may not... they might just go for 2 Static Shiv procs, right? You just proc it once, run around, proc it a second time, use the Q on only the front line, and that's another way of doing the pattern. But if you want to one-shot the wave, you do need that 1 AP item to get all that extra damage in. Now, I am a little bit surprised that T1's playing for the Eastern Quadrant. It looks like they're trying to prioritize over the Dragon, which is coming in 3 minutes, but in reality, like, Herald's up right now. They're not going to get anything out of this. What they do end up getting, though, is they get the Gragas Teleport, so I'm sure the call is going to be to move towards the top half of the map now, because Gragas Teleport being down means that they're going to have resources available to make a numbers up play here. Now, Zeus getting a little bit chunked out, again, not getting any kind of chunk damage in response, which is very bad for them. You're going to have the maximum amount of damage from Zeri now. Gragas rotating over as well to make sure that they're strong. And they're going to look to flex their gold lead a little bit here. They take the mid prio, use it to get to the river. T1's not going to contest. They're going to go to bot lane, try to get a couple of wave advantages here. Very risky for Kindred to go into their own jungle. But the play from KT is going to be just to reset, fan back out, and stop Renekton from getting any amount of turret damage in bottom. Zeri might be backing with as much as Runon's Hurricane right now. That would be insane. Yep, I think so. No, they're selling components, so yeah, they're not quite there. All right, Renekton gets the one push out, goes for a reset. Now they're coming back out here. Look at the Eastern Quadrant protective vision that KT has set up. This is going to allow them to move freely through this quadrant as they approach the dragons, which will be a huge problem for T1 in this game. They're already down 2k. Herald is in the enemy team's pocket, and they have a preferable state of the Eastern Quadrant to be able to approach this dragon. So they may look to make dragon part of their win condition in this game. Now, this is something that they do in pro play. They use Tibbers much more aggressively than they do anywhere else. You use it to push, you use it to gain prio, you just stick it down in the wave, you cast it on cooldown. The fact that they lowered the cooldown and they still haven't changed it means that Annie will still be viable even though she just got a round of nerfs. So she will still get play, but you're going to see a lot of Azirs who did not get touched, and the fact that you don't have the competing amount of wave clear from all the Static Shiv champions, you're going to see more Azirs popping up as people have now figured out the build with the W max and the total AP ratios that just let you rip through the team fights. Now, let's say if they start moving over, Nico's on the wrong side of the map, but they're going to use teleport for this. Expect Nautilus to come up through the middle. They're going to push mid and then come on over. The issue is that they, without this mid lane turret, they do potentially get engaged on by Zeri or Annie over walls. Now, Faker happy to get some of this chunk damage out. All right, good sidestep by Faker, not getting punched into turret, but you can see like this Gragas build, so hard, even with the nerfs, so hard to actually whittle this champion down. And basically at this stage in the game, your passive being 12 seconds instead of 8 still means that you can go up and fight for this wave. And twice during the reset on the wave, you're going to be able to get your health back. So they're not really going to miss out on, and this is something we talked about, that Gragas will take a peg down, but he's still going to be very strong. They didn't hit the fundamental part of his kit. There are more windows to trade in against him, which does help a champion like Renekton, because that 12-second window is going to help him very much. But coming into these endgame fights, like, what kind of pattern are we looking for? Are we looking for a Kindred ult on an aggressive play followed by a Nico jumping in? That's going to be kind of difficult to make happen. You might get a hammer to the anvil sort of approach where Nico pretends to be Nautilus and you have Nico and Nautilus moving together, Renekton coming over the top, and you try to squish the team fight together. You lead in with Nautilus ult or the Nico Pop Blossom and you continue in with the Renekton, or you can just go with Nautilus Q to the minion wave, Keston R on something like the Zeri, and then try to all in front to back the fight, use Kindred ult one-sided. And if they do try to get that counter engaged, then you use the Nico Pop Blossom in the middle of the Kindred ult. The problem is that Gragas is going to rip that strategy apart. So when we talk about this draft diff, the fact that KT has Gragas countering Renekton while also countering Kindred is a huge deal. I really just don't think that T1 was able to recuperate from that early Dragon Steal. The fact that they invested so much into it and they were making really good rotations to make it work, but not able to close it out is a big deal. Was that the 4th mark from Kindred? It looked like I just saw the animation. Sometimes I think the NA keeps track of that mark on the scoreboard. They do it with Scion as well. They, have the total extra health, which I like, right? That's interesting to know. These champions that have progression, it's good to see how far progressed they are. All right, Alistar still on 0 items. Has completed the gold quest, though. So they will be okay. He wants to find a way. He wants to empty out his wards and go shopping. I'm sure he's got the full item here, and he's going to go and get his control wards as well. No, they're trying to set a bush prank here. Very difficult into Kindred. Kindred's going to be able to snuff that out. But poorly timed, because the camps respawning here in the Western Quadrant means that there's nothing really for them to play with. So they end up losing 30 seconds on their own here. There's only so many places they could be. Now the vision has moved over into the top side. So KT is going to make a press play where they're going to say, hey, we dare you to fight for Dragon. The fact that it could be Soul for us means that we could easily go get the Baron. But we know that T1 prefers Baron over Soul. So they're not going to fall for that trap. This is something that you need to be willing to do, is give up Soul to get Baron. We know that T1 will do this. And what you do is with the Baron, you try to get all 3 inner turrets, right? Other team has Soul. You just move around, high pressure, all over the place. You've got multiple teleports. And by pressuring and trying to get that 3k gold spike from the Baron and then another 3k from breaking the inners, maybe you can springboard yourself to a position where you're actually stronger for the Elder fight. So in this case where you're losing, you're behind, that's absolutely the trade that you want to make. KT's not going to want to let them do it. They're going to want to play up through the mid lane, and then they're going to get control of the vision from here to here to here. Right? They're going to want to make this line that'll see anyone that's coming in a funnel shape across their lines here. And then they're going to use control wards behind those to create the derivative vision, right? So you see the backline here of control. This is the core, and then you're going to make a trapezoid. And between these 3 front wards, we've already got the central one, and these, you're actually going to create yourself a very good prism of wards, kind of trapping people. People are going to have to walk through your vision to get whatever it is that they're coming for. Because with another smite win, jeez. Tough game for Owner. How many marks is now? He's at 2 marks. No, I thought he was at 4. He's only at 2. Very, very difficult for him to get these spawns. The smite wins from Cuz are just like carrying this game. Neat little play there from the Nico, something a lot of people don't take enough advantage of. You know, they say count the minions. Well, what if you send an extra minion in with the wave, but you're not actually there? Try to get them to panic. Now, one of the things, I think it's a spectator bug, but what Nico's going to be doing, you send out the clone, and then you press recall on the clone, and because it's recalling, you're going to get that extra effect. The sound effect will go off, and you'll get ancillary vision, more information than you otherwise could by using that. Now, what they're going to do, they're going to keep on fighting for this bot side river bush. Nico's going to go for the engage, gets the proto-bout, triple knockup, but they don't hit Zeri. Zeri's still getting hit by Dragon. The upfront damage does favor T1 heavily. I don't know if they know how strong they are. They should be pressing forward. They're going to take the kill onto Tibbers to start. Now, Faker going a little bit ahead of the team. You don't want to actually start taking the Dragon pressure. Gragas is healing back up and teleporting in. This is when they're going to get stronger for their whole team. You're going to see Gragas bodying right here. Renekton, I love the fact that he's flanking. Here we go, hammer to the anvil. If you're KT, you have to fight forward. Zeus flashing into the stun. Now they get 1 kill, but Zeri gets the double to lead things off. Here we go. We got the ripping fight through here from Zeri. And they're so strong. Now here we go. Zeri's going to position herself beautifully and carries the team fight. Well played. If you want a clinic in how to play Zeri in a team fight, that was it. Also, huge props to Lehens. Seeing the Renekton, I don't know if they even saw the Renekton on bot side, but realizing that they had to press the fight forward to go for that fight. And I do believe I saw BDD also hit a stun onto the Renekton that stopped him from getting the hard engage. I'm sure we'll get another chance to look at this. So look at this battle line. All right, good job. They fight for the vision here. They've already got the vision behind the pit. This is a fantastic upfront engage, but it is the 3 tankiest members of the team. Aiming doing a good job to reposition himself in the fight, killing the control ward through the fog because Zeri's broken. Now Renekton goes for this play. What is it? Is this a oh, he's teleporting to a control ward. Okay, that's a little bit loose. When you teleport to the control ward, they see you. So you see BDD, he's actually going to aim the stun right in the face of Zeus, so he doesn't actually get that upfront damage to start. Now, Zeri's able to reposition and front to back with the shields from the Annie, and great positioning from the Gragas here. Now, they're absolutely going to win this fight in the middle of the pit. Gragas, you're going to see positioning himself in between the targets, expertly played. Zeri gets to the right side. Gragas stands between them to block as much damage as possible. And that's your job as the tank. They end up cleaning up the fight, and this game is well and truly in the hands of KT. They've got Soul, they've got Prio for Baron. This has got to be the fight where T1's got to take the Hail Mary, because you are not going to get a better chance than this one. You try to hope for miscommunication, but KT gets the angle. They snuff out Zeus, and they go and engage on him. And there's no real great play here. KT has to play a little bit patiently. You don't want to go with aiming being at 30% HP. So they're going to let him stack back up. Gragas is going to hold the position. They don't want to give away the fact that there's no Zeri, but Zeri, with the extra healing from the runes, is going to be able to do a massive chunk of damage and hits a 2-man W in a perfect corridor angle. And what's left for T1? Very difficult position for them to be in. Now, you could potentially outplay this, but Zeri goes with the ult, presses the outplay button, and that's going to be the end of game number 1. Now, 37-second death timers on 3 champions means that they can't quite end. 2 respawns coming in with the health bars being that low. They don't need to go for any kind of risky play. They're just going to pick up the Baron. The reason they're doing this is because there is a long-standing fight here, which means there's potentially a lot of standing gold into wallets. And whenever that's the case, if you're not sure, if you're not 100% that the end is definitely checkmate, then you want to just continue to get advantage. Think of it like in chess. Again, if it's a forced checkmate, it's a forced checkmate. But if it's not, then you're totally fine to go ahead and pinch for more pieces, take a couple more rooks, a couple more bishops, promote your pawn to a queen, and just checkmate them by trading off all the rest of their pieces, and then you just win with multiple queens at the end of the game. So now with Sol and the Barons in hand, they should be playing for 1-3-1. If you're T1 versus the 1-3-1, you need to find a hard engage. Now, Gragas is almost impossible to kill, but because of that, you might get some hubris on his push. You might be able to find an angle to go after him. He does have this Abyssal Mask, which is absolutely fantastic for the team. It's good for his own damage, it's good for Annie's damage, and it even hits 40% of Zeri's damage while also preventing a lot of the bursts that could come his way. Kaisa, especially with this build, is going to be about 60% magic damage herself. So having that extra shield for themselves will help Gragas a lot. Now T1, they do fight these off pretty well. They tend to hold mid as long as possible. All right, they say, we're going to make it as hard as possible. We want you to go into the sideways to make it easier for us to potentially go for a shove. But you're going to see Zeri's going to have exceptional sieging advantage here. Look for KT to bring the waves in at the same time, all right? Top wave is already in position, so they're going to escort mid in, and they're going to hard push. Now, because they've got the Baron buff, they could go for two different types of sequences. One is to get mid and then bring the top wave and bring that in as well. And because they're so strong, they're going to be able to muscle in and go for that play. Now, Zeus should int for this wave here, because that would actually end the Baron push. Oh, here we go. Oh, the hook at the same time. Maybe get the extra play. They go for the engage. Renekton gets as much damage as they can. Guma, you need to get into this fight and just deal the absolute maximum. That Kindred ultimate was a little bit loose, making it impossible for the rest of the team to try to clean up. They weren't going to be winning, but you basically give yourself no outs by doing it that way. That had to be a Hail Mary, do or die. I appreciate the observers right here. Slow motion dance on the fountain. Really well played by KT. Cuz playing out of his mind this game to win those jungle situations. T1 put everything in that early game basket and was not able to get it. So let's check out game 2. All right, we have blue side again from T1. This time we do get the Azir into Twisted Fate. Now, Twisted Fate stepping up, has the pick a card. They might try for an angle here, but there's not going to be much. This is usually what you do. You can force your way in if you expect the enemy team to go for a fan-out start. Now, they have Malphite that they picked in apparently blind, because they gave up Cassante for this, or they volunteered the Malphite into... Either one of these matchups would have been tremendously losing. So that is the one big weak spot for their team. However, they are going to pair it with Twisted Fate. So when it does come time for a fight, they're going to be able to force fights whenever they want. Also, Malphite is fantastic holding the line against this team. Fairly low damage front to back until you get the Azir. Xayah doesn't deal the most damage in the game. Cassante can have some issues on trying to get that access. But should have a fantastic lane for himself against Malphite. And you see them, they're going to be fighting for grass procs here. Cassante's going to try to make them one-sided. He doesn't really want to get all these grasp trades off, because the tankier the Malphite is, the better it is for his team. Cassante has the grasp so that if Malphite goes for a grasp proc, Cassante can trade back with it. You're going to see for auto and then Q auto to try to win back the trade. I don't expect Malphite to put many points into Q, if any. There's a chance that he actually goes for 0, He doesn't have Mana Flow or Scorch, right? Because this is not the type of lane where you're going to get that. So instead, he's going to go for E and W and go to push the wave so that he can test with the Malphite. Or so he can contest Casante's push. Nice job by BDD there, using the red card plus the Corrupting Potion to deal the maximum to Faker. Getting, again, Amplified push going. Same thing again, using red card to spray the damage. Very well done, punishing the fact that Azir is willing to step up. Now, the fact that they lost the push here, this has to be intentional, right? Because Casante's coming top to bottom, but the problem is that Viego wins this 1v1. This is something a lot of people don't realize about Kha'Zix. Now, why are you retreating? That's a big miss from Cuz. Your team has the push crashing into bot lane turret. Twisted Fate has the push in against Azir, so all three of the people who could rejoin the fight are all your team, plus you win the 1v1. Okay, this is not level 6. Kha'Zix does not have the amplified effects, and even then, Viego would be totally fine. Kha'Zix has much more scaling than people realize, especially when you go for First Strike and Dark Harvest, where you want to get these pile-on builds. You First Strike into more damage. There's no access to the invisibility to counter any of Viego's fighting potential. So a little bit of a miss there. They did go in. They moved things together for themselves, right? They got the push going, but then they weren't able to capitalize. Now, both flashes being used against Rakan. Rakan's able to get both of them out, has to dash back out, but they have the reset, and the wave is pushing. Now, I don't expect them to actually sit here. Now, this is new Azir things. New Azir damage is insane, all right? And you have to be careful to not get stuck into that situation that BDD just did for himself. Now, this is the problem, right? They tried to stay to get better recalls, but instead they're going to get a fantastic counter engage. KT is throwing away the advantages that they've built for themselves. Now, T1, I have to assume, allowed for the push early because they had Kha'Zix pathing to bot side, and they wanted to try to win for the level 3. All right, level 1, little bit of a reach, but against Aphelios, he's got such a good gun selection with the range on green gun and then the lifesteal on red gun. This is, again, pre-nerf. So they're opting, hey, we win at level 3. Let's force the wave to rebound, and then maybe we can either freeze here or we can get a stacked wave push, crash, and go get a better recall at the Noon Quiver timing. Good job by Faker getting access to the shield right there. And there you go. You reposition BDD, just taking a little bit too long to get out of the Sand Soldiers. He's like, oh, I didn't know he would kill me. And this is the play in bottom again. A little bit overeager. Good job by Keria. Flash W to engage. Viego has no flash, so punishing that play immediately. Very, very well done by Rakan. Keria's play. I mean, Keria, widely regarded as one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. And showing why right there. Has gotten both flashes from the Lulu and from Viego, and was able to get a return kill. Now, Faker looking to take the upfront. Now, one of the things that you look for is for Q, you want one trade with the Q to reposition Sand Soldiers on an immobile target like the Twisted Fate, and you maximize damage. And then you want to save the second one, and he's going to look for a shuffle into a bounce, and then you throw your soldiers once they are separated by the wall, right? Once your enemy has to path in a reliable direction versus the wall, especially with no dashes here, they can go for that big damage trade. Rakan, again, expertly using the W to arrive just on top of the Twisted Fate, but the rest of the damage still comes in, and he doesn't even need to use the Ignite. So Twisted Fate will still be lethal here. No more Destiny, but they will be able to claim the dragon for themselves. Now, Rakan could try to hold this wave, but it's a lot of extra damage. I don't like this control ward at all. You're not really contesting here. Guma's too far away. If they're trying to hold on to this, like, what are they getting? There's just no way that you're fighting for this. So I just feel like this is a lot of lost resources. No one picked up the majority of that wave that was crashing under turret. Guma did get the back half of it, but it's just not enough. So KT a little bit loose. Sorry, what am I saying? T1 a little bit loose. on that. But I will say this: by contesting, you do get this state right here where Guma is able to push in bottom right away. So this might be the play that they're looking for. Like, hey, we're not actually going to contest for anything. We've got root into stun here. Rakan almost stopping the Twisted Fate stun from coming in, but that was a flash forward from aiming. So there might be a window here, especially with Rakan hitting 6 and Xayah hitting 6, where they may try to go on to the Aphelios, but Lulu will be able to get 6 herself, and this will be the junction that matters most in this game. Now you do have Cull, BF start, so I'm kind of curious what avenue he's going to go for. Did he just pick up BF because he's like, I've got the 1300, BT is an exceptional item and I want to stay topped off. I've got my overheal, so I want to make sure that I'm always getting this extra damage up front. Could be. I don't expect to see Navori Quick Blades. You know, it's almost always going to be Gale Force. I mean, it could just be lining himself up for the Gale Force. Wanting the extra AD early. That would make sense as well. Alright, Kha'Zix's pinging over. This is something that you can do in your games as well. I think Azir's saying I have plenty of mana because I've got my Lost Chapter plus Doran's. So not rushing over to take the blue, but you can pass this blue over as a jungler. You just never need the extra mana. But you see Faker's just staying on top of this synergy. Like, good angle here. Ends up stunning the E. Now, you can buffer that if you're Faker. If you catch that just right, you can get the cast animation to finish as you're getting stunned. But that would be very, very difficult. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking that that's not Azir. No, you won't get that on Azir. Jarvan EQ, different than Azir's WE. Zeus holding the lineup as much as he can. Now he should be working up a gold lead for himself with the CS. Malphite holding his own though. I'd like to see the Malphite's abilities to confirm that he's going for the maximum on the E, but it's not positive. Now Kha'Zix with the Q upgrade is going to deal more damage in the 1v1s. Now he's going to feel a little bit stronger on top of the fact that he has it. Now check out stun card. Ooh. Stun card into flash stun. Beautiful aggressive play by KT. Now they have the advantage here. Sidestep as well. Oh my god, Cuz is playing out of his mind. Has the red buff, so he's going to stick to Faker. Now they have to be careful with the turnaround. This would be a reach. There's nothing really to get for themselves here. There's a little bit of upfront chunk damage, but basically that ult was a reach from Keria. Nothing was going to come back. And this whole time, Aphelios has been getting plates for himself in the bot wave. Now saving the white gun, expecting to need a fight here. Gets the... No, it doesn't go for the cast down. Gets it down instead. Now went for the ultimate. Stacking up those chakrams. No, he won't go for it. Now Kha'Zix's coming over. They want to make a pressure for this. They know that they have the timer on Aphelios' ult. They know it's still not up. The flash, now it's up. They missed it by that many seconds, right? 3 seconds they had to go for that play, and you can tell. And right on cooldown, aiming gets the flash and gets it off. And this is going to be the strength of the Xayah Rakan lane. Having these big engages. Now Owner, here's the jump. A little bit of a bad angle, right? Going for the spot that he knew that he could get an angle. Ends up flashing back over while the ultimate's there, but there's just not enough upfront damage. Maybe he expected Faker to cast the ultimate right there and create a window. Beautifully sidestepped by Cuz. Like, how incredible was that? Now they have to back off because they've got the call that Xayah is coming up a little bit early on the ult from Rakan. Now, top lane matchup, we're going to have Sunfire, and it looks like Malphite's actually going to finish Sunfire. That's not something you normally do. He might not be. He might just be going for the Iceborne Gauntlet, but the Bomby Cinder to help him with the push. Basically, auto W into auto E with Sunfire is enough to clear the entire wave. Sorry, that's enough to clear the wave even with Bomby Cinder. So we'll see whether or not he's going for the Iceborne. Iceborne you're going to use anytime that you want to hold down the enemy mobile targets. Now Faker dashed into this. He's got no way out. E cooldown is still going to be down. Now you see Cuz holding on. What was that interaction? What? Pause? What happened to BDD? He just got hopped over the wall back into range of the Azir. How did that happen? Or did he flash? Flash is down, so it could just be that it was use of flash. Alright, the 1 point of strength for them right here is going to be the plate on Zeus, which will be enough to get the Iceborne Gauntlet, plus the boots finished. He'll get these 2 plates for himself. Now let's check out this interaction. Rakan, a little bit of a reach again. Alright, Keria going a little bit too much, not realizing that these guys are playing absolutely cracked, especially Cuz. Now let's see the Faker ult here. BDD being bopped. Okay, so that must have been flash forward. But there you get the teleport and the engage from Malphite to clean up the rest of the fight. They're playing so well. It looked like the edge of it may have popped Aphelios straight up, like into the wall and then up, and then Twisted Fate flashed over. But I still would need to see it again in slower motion. But yeah, KT's can have a tremendous advantage now. 2 dragons, the fact that they've got Viego and Aphelios for scaling, Kha'Zix, which I don't really like in this environment. I like that they have a little wrap up on how many plates were gone all over the map. Cassante, how can you carry this game? Well, the main sources of damage is fairly low damage from AP sources. So you may see him just stacking armor and be an impenetrable force. But again, I really hate the Kha'Zix in this draft. Cassante did not get enough for himself. He got, what was that, 2 plates or 3 plates in the top wave? It looked like 2. And only a 10 CS advantage. So really not enough. And Malphite was able to teleport an ultimate to swing that fight. So basically completely negating any sort of advantage that Zeus might have gleaned for himself. Now KT's going to be stronger. Rakan's going to look for one big fight here. Going to try to loop everyone together. Faker's standing on the ward. He doesn't know it. But this position does mean that they get the Herald for themselves. KT's going to hustle on over into mid to try to get Prio for themselves again. Could have played a little bit stronger there. Nothing really else on the map for them to do, though. But like top lane's already coming in for them. They already had mid-wave pushed. So they didn't actually lose much for that play. Now, this might be a very slow game from here on out because neither team is truly incentivized to go in, right? T1 would like to get these fights, but they're behind. So they're going to have to find like a really good pick. Cassante picking someone up over a wall, for example, or Rakan getting a 2-man engage or something like this. I'm really struggling to see what Kha'Zix is going to contribute to this game. He's almost assuredly going to go for the W upgrade, Void Spikes. Next, but you know what are you going to do? Just stand there, siege? Like this team doesn't have much poke. Azir having delayed Qs, you're not going to be able to reposition your Sand Soldiers, nor do they have like an extreme range. Kha'Zix is fine. Zaya's fine, but like all of those kind of end at 700 range. All right, you're not going to get anything else extra out of it. And anytime that you're stepping up to poke like that, you're putting yourself at potential for Malphite, right? Malphite's going to outrange all of the poke here with his ultimate, and the fact that you've got Viego that can just bypass it, Malphite can bypass it, Twisted Fate can bypass it, and yet you're trying to play front to back engage versus an Aphelios. So like it's going to be very, very, very difficult for T1 to make this happen. Now, I do have Herald for themselves. It looks like KT is going to sacrifice one turret, get positions for themselves. Aphelios is picking up a double stacked wave in bottom. They are giving up the mid turret, opting not to put Aphelios into a position of potential danger. Now, this is a interesting adaptation. If enemy team is super strong in mid, your Aphelios doesn't necessarily want to stand off against the potential engage from an Azir Rakan. So he's going up here, picking up the wave for himself, and stepping back out. But you see how quickly he needs to get out, right? One flinch of motion in your direction and you need to peace out. Which means that Casante's can have access to this wave and he's going to get the push going outwards. And he's going to have a totally fine flanking position to take someone. Now, there are a couple of angles coming from this angle. From this spot, you can put someone into the pit or you can throw someone out over here. Malphite with the flash engage here. They go for the upfront damage. And again, they're moving away from the Casante. And you see, next time again, they're trying to create the flank with top laner from Zeus, but it's too telegraphed and KT engages into the 4. Now Zeus trying to use the all out, but it's not enough. Aphelios is too big. The Destiny giving them way too much information, and again, just spotting out that angle. You see that use of vision by the Malphite right here. Boom, flash R. Look at that. Even Lulu flashing to get in a double to get the Q in on multiple targets, right? Putting himself at such insane amounts of risk to do that, but saying, "Hey, like here's our follow-up. We're continuing." So you see that level of commitment. It's not like, "Let me see if I should flash." It's, "We're going. The call is go, therefore everybody goes," right? Including flashes from the support to continue the damage. And you see this Malphite pick doing work. Casante was not able to get enough, and really paying off against, like, specifically the Kazakhs, right? What is Kazakhs ever going to do in this game? I feel like I'm beating a dead horse saying it, but it's one of these things that when these teams pick a champion like Kazakhs, I'd much rather have the Kazakhs with the Twisted Fate, for example, where you can make plays, you can jump over walls, you can go invisible, you can find other people and hunt. And you have a setup that will largely go for it. But we didn't even see Faker go for a shuffle into a knockback to isolate. And so there's no real angle here. Zeus not going to have anything right here, just feeding. And Malphite Jaksho procs off, and he's good, which means that they're going to get Baron for themselves right on spawn. 506 Aphelios, 2.5 items. Has the extra BF sword to compensate for all the extra attack speed that he's got in the kit. We have Twisted Fate on Darkseal. And yeah, Lehens is just marking the Kazakhs. You see this? All right. Very important. You're not really contributing to the take here. What you're doing is just marking Kazakhs. Where are you? I'm keeping an eye on you. I'll put picks on you and see it. So let's see. Guma right here. You know what that must have been? That must have been Gale Force locking him into the animation and Keen saying, "I can kill you during this animation." No, it's not even Gale Force. He doesn't have Gale Force. How does he not get ultimate off there? He's supposed to. Malphite's willing to use his ultimate, by the way, to get Xayah out of a fight. You absolutely want this because this team wants to hard engage, right? And you want to do it from Shadows with Viego and from Destiny from over the top with the Twisted Fate. On top of that, the Malphite ultimate comes up sooner. So anytime that you're willing to use Malphite ultimate to get the Xayah ultimate off the board will be a win for you. You see Twisted Fate's going to keep on shuffling through the cards. If he doesn't get the fight that he wants, he's going to leave the cards there because they finally have tuned up the total amount of damage that they've got on it. Don't need to sit on the E if there's nothing else to get for it. And look at this. Keen's just completely shrugging off this damage from the Xayah. And Xayah is going Navori Quick Blades, which will be tons of damage. Like we said, if you can get that ult off in response to an engage and then you can draw back, then yes, you might be able to find an intense amount of damage for these fights, but they're not really going to give you that target. This front to back situation with the fact that you've got Destiny over the top and you've got the Malphite ultimate, Very difficult for T1 to ever find a window. Now check out the build from Aphelios too. Double crit cloak saying we're spiking right now. Now if you're this strong, truly, I actually would have preferred to see the red elixir and just carry for the game right here. But this does ensure that you're going to scale as well. Good counter engage here. They get something back from the Xayah. But this is the tool that you really wanted, right? In response, you wanted the Azir to try to shuffle, reposition. Now, you do see Azir is actually carrying this fight. You do see some strength from the Kazakhs. This is what you want in these fights. You want to isolate targets and go for the pick. So they actually get the maximum for themselves in return. This was not something that KT had to force, right? Once you use the Malphite ultimate, even though you are ahead, you didn't get everything that you wanted from this fight. Xayah did get the response. Now it uses the R and then flashes forward. What were they expecting to happen behind them? I'm not sure. So it looks like a little bit of panic here. Keen taking the most amount of turret hits. I like this. And Cuz is able to get out for themselves here. BDD maybe actually missed out on the kill there as well. Now, with that win fight and the turret shutdown here, they can have a decent amount of gold for themselves, but none of the players are going to be able to spend it. All right, this is gold in inventory. It's gold in wallet. It's not gold in inventory, whereas KT is able to spend everything that they had before, right? So that shutdown gold, only Cassante is having any access to it. Now, the fact that they get the steal here is absolutely massive, but it does mean that they're going to lose at least one, all right? Now, with one dead, we have 2 minutes, 23 seconds. We're going to see the engage here. Does he have Zhonya's? Repositions to not get knocked back. Doesn't have access, so a little bit of an overplay from KT, and they're opening the door for T1. A little bit ambitious. Zhonya's was not on cooldown, right? It's still about 10 seconds left on the cooldown of that Zhonya's hourglass. But now with resources down, Kazakhs being dead early in the fight here. Despite, wow, that was very, very difficult to do. To get the execute while it's retreating, very well done. And I wonder if KT, this is something that a lot of pro teams do not really explore, but the ability to pull the dragon, get it to releash on itself a few times, so that if you need to, you can step back, you bait the person who's trying to come in for the steal while the dragon's resetting, and that way you can get them to just int. But Kazakhs was still able to get the damage in to get that fight, so well done by him. Now we have Duskblade purchase, we have Iceborne Gauntlet, so they're very much trying to hold one person in place. I'm going to point out the Azir build here. So Nashor's Tooth, ever since it got cooldown ability haste again, it's been viable on Azir. It helps Azir in those situations where you don't have the soldiers in place to give you some amount of damage. Oh, there we go. Well done by KT. So I'm going to pause that point about the Azir build. Basically, they force up, allowing them to get windows here. And gosh, Aphelios is so broken. Dealing that damage at 1200 range with the green gun, and this means that they're going to push for the end. Malphite building triple tank means that he's going to be able to just walk up and hold the turret aggro here. Now Cassante's going to try to cut the wave. Now look at this. T1's going to int to try to keep the minions alive, but he uses the teleport to keep the minion wave alive. That is the level that these guys are at. Playing for the minutia of minutia. That is so, so impressive. Countering the counterplay. It's like, all right, you think you can win. Now, I'm going to make this point. T1 couldn't actually stop the end, right? Even with the waves dead, Malphite was strong enough that he could have just tanked. So the fact that you guys are dying Malphite with 350 armor or whatever it is just going to walk up, hold the turret anyways. In fact, you're proccing his Draxo, which means that he's going to be able to get the extra stats anyways. But the idea behind that was, let me engage and try to just kill all the minions. They use the teleport to make a minion invulnerable as a counterplay. So absolutely covering all the checkboxes. Now, KT The fact that they held Dragon at that level of leashing, said it would re-leash as Kha'Zix went for the steal. Super advanced. Teleport to keep minion alive. This team is very well coached. This team is very well prepared. And they are playing out of their minds. And Cuz is playing at a whole nother level. That's the best jungle performance I've seen between it in a best of 3 series so far this season. So well done to them. And what we're going to say about the Azir, just to finish that point. Nashor's Tooth, ever since it got ability haste, has been playable for Azir, and it does help him in those situations where your Sand Soldiers are out. But the combination of Crown of the Shattered Queen and Nashor's Tooth means that you actually have very, very low damage with your soldiers in those positions where you're playing front to back. And we talked about this team where Malphite was going to be impregnable, and the Azir didn't help. Right? He doesn't have any damage to rip through this. This had to be a Liandry's Anguish. It had to be a fight where you are able to just reposition, try to use your tools or Zonia's or something, or just even having access to Flash. You can even buy Lucid if you need to. You need to have more damage uptime and some ability to hit this Malphite, because he was able to go wherever he wanted in the game. So T1 a little bit too safe. KT playing to the maximum and playing with every little out. Every box is being checked. So they look dang good. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to drop a like and a subscribe if you want more content. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. All right, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to go pick up the kiddos. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you next time. We are going to do Fast Friday tomorrow. We're actually going to do something special. We're going to get coached by a top lane. It is a Riven main, which I'm not a huge fan of, but that's because Riven's our actual 160 out of 160 worst champion in the game for me. But we're going to see what they have with another set of eyeballs, see if they have some contributions or some insights, and that should be pretty good. So I'll be at 12 o'clock tomorrow. I'll see you then, all right?